This is the church of St. Peter, the fisherman from Galilee, who is buried underneath this church. He was one of those apostles selected by Jesus, and he was put to death during the persecution of Nero in the year 67. This is also the church of the Pope, his successor. St. Peter stands over a first-century cemetery where Peter the Apostle was buried and where he was honored by the Christians of Rome after his execution. About 300 years later, the Emperor Constantine built a church over the Apostle's grave. Constantine's church was near collapse by the 15th century, so the popes of the time replaced it. The present church took over 100 years to build. A 16th century pilgrim map shows the half-finished church. Michelangelo, Bramante, Raphael, Bernini were among its creators. Its great doors record significant events in the life of the Roman Catholic Church. The martyrdoms of Peter and Paul, founders of the Roman Church. The central door recalls an attempt to unify the Christian churches of the East and the West by the Council of Florence in 1439. Christian unity is still a goal of the Catholic Church. The Basilica's left door recalls the Second Vatican Council, opened by Pope John XXIII in 1962, to strengthen the Church spiritually and promote a better relationship with the modern world. On the far right is the Holy Door, opened every 25 years, a sign of the everlasting mercy of God. The church has a spacious beauty. It's a feast of visual signs expressing Catholic belief. At its entrance on the left is the baptistry. Jesus was baptized, and baptism unites him with those who believe in him. The main altar, framed by Bernini's bronze baldacchino, is the focus of the church. Here, the Eucharist is celebrated by the Pope, who represents Christ. Beneath the main altar is a sunken confession lit by over 90 candles, where the remains of Peter the Apostle are honored. The church's art and statuary return again and again to the story of the humble Galilean fisherman called by Jesus. He witnessed what Jesus said and did. Banners around the Basilica ceiling proclaim the promises Jesus made to his apostle, "You're Peter. On this rock I will build my church. Feed my lambs, feed my sheep." Peter, the teacher of the church, constantly appears before our eyes. Behind the main altar is his symbolic chair, designed by Bernini, dramatically signifying the apostles' teaching ministry. Four great teachers of the church, Ambrose and Augustine, Athanasius and John Chrysostom, share his ministry. They all receive light from the glowing window where the Holy Spirit is seen as a dove. Throughout the Basilica there are statues of saints of the Catholic Church, popes, founders of religious orders, and other important figures who have shared in Peter's mission. Besides Peter the teacher, Peter the sinner is remembered here. "Depart from me, for I am a sinful man." He denied Jesus 3 times, and a cock crew. The Gospels, which relate what the apostle taught, never omit the story of the suffering and death of his master and Peter's own disloyalty. Michelangelo's Pietà, on the right-hand side near the church's entrance, is a poignant reminder of the passion and death of Jesus. The 4 large piers that surround the main altar and support the soaring dome of the church contain reminders of this central mystery. The relics of the cross, the veil of Veronica, the lance of Longinus. The church, with its spacious nave and vast piazza, was meant to welcome great crowds of people. Bernini's colonnades reach to embrace a multitude of visitors. When filled with people for celebration, the church is at its best. When this church was built in the 16th century, leaders of the Protestant Reformation saw it as an example of wasteful spending, but the builders of St. Peter saw it as the successor to the temple at Jerusalem. They wanted it to be the central place of worship for the Catholic Church, a beautiful witness to the work of God, who founded a church on a humble apostle, Peter the fisherman. And so it is.